In today's clip, I want to defend against this idea that playing the lottery is for dunces and a big waste of money. Yes, I know. I'm usually standard for fiscal responsibility, so why do I feel this way? Let's find out. Hey, Zempak here. Another day not having to worry about most normal people problems. So if you're here for one reason or another, comment, like, and subscribe. Because who wants to be a normal person anyway? Yeah, so the jackpot for Mega Millions is up to somewhere around 750 million bucks lately. Have you bought a ticket? If you haven't, is it because you've read all these articles that talks about how the lottery's a scam and just a tax on poor people? I know I have, but to be frank, I think these points are somewhat misleading. Obviously, I'm not doing a 180 and saying, hey, lottery is great for everyone, but I also don't think it's for no one or a lack of merits entirely. So here's a bunch of reasons why. One, know what you're actually buying. Okay, so first of all, what does a lottery ticket actually buy for you? For every individual, right? Sure, the chances of winning are astronomically small, but at least for me, on the occasions that I do buy a ticket, it gives me a nice daydream where I'm spending all this supposed unearned dough in my brain for, let's say, a day or two. Okay, think about that. That's a lovely daydream of hope, of grandeur, for what? 10, 20 bucks a pop? Now, when's the last time you've spent that amount of money on, say, let's say a movie, all right? Or some food that would lead you to daydream of such individualized fantasy for that long a period of time. Okay, so understand that the daydream is mostly the point. Okay, so even if you win nothing, to feel kind of good or even just better about your own situation for a day or two, is that worth 10 or 20 bucks a pop for you? Okay, reason number two. Now, statistics show that the average American household spends about $1,000 on a lottery a year, okay? And yet, around 50%, or maybe slightly more, can't come up with $1,000 in cash for an emergency at all. So clearly, actually, I agree with this. Not everybody should be playing the lottery, right? So if you don't have an emergency fund of even a G, much less than the 6 to 12 months of living expenses that I would really recommend, then maybe lottery buying should just take a back seat, right? At least until you have your emergency fund in place, right? But for people like me who's pretty comfortable fiscally, I'd estimate, I buy lottery tickets maybe, let's say 2 to 5 times a year, at 10 to 20 bucks each. So that's $100 in total annually, all right? That amount of money just doesn't mean too much to me, so why wouldn't I? After all, my current daydreams would require an extraordinary amount of dough anyway. So yes, worth it for me. Is it for you? That's a question that only you can answer, okay? You gotta really take a hard look at your own situation to understand, whether it's fiscally responsible for you, right? Just because it's not responsible for everyone doesn't mean that it's not responsible for a large proportion of American citizens, right? Reason number three. This is a rebuttal on, how low the chances are for winning the lottery, okay? Every time I read about why lotteries are scammy, they say things like, oh, it's even less likely than being attacked by a bear in a national park or being struck by lightning twice. Okay, I'm not going to argue that they didn't do their research and the statistics are incorrect, okay? And yet, I'm pretty sure these kind of comparisons, they simply don't sink in for anyone. Okay, we human beings generally have problems conceptualizing like very large numbers, right? So to say, hey, it's a 1 in 3 million chance of being attacked by a bear and 1 in 300 million to win the lottery. Why the heck would you even bring this up? Okay, because it's going to convince no one. I mean, 100 times less likely. Seems like such a small difference considering we're already talking about chances in 1 in millions. So another times 100? What? I just don't understand why people keep writing this, like as if to dissuade people, but it never ever does. Okay. Reason number four. Here's a rebuttal on how this is how the lottery is a tax on the poor. I hear this all the time. First of all, I feel like you misunderstand what the heck a tax is. A tax is, right? A tax is not voluntary, the last time I checked, okay? But the lottery is. There's no one forcing anyone to play, okay? Now, I get that the less advantaged in life are more likely to be convinced that they need a quick way out, right? So a lottery is that dream. But to be honest, this is actually true for simply a personality type, not an income layer, okay? After all, even some rich kids feel like they're less advantaged in some ways, okay? Most likely compared to richer kids, okay? So, pretty sure everyone who's prone to daydreaming is susceptible to the lottery, okay? So at best, it's specifically tailored or particularly attractive, not towards poor people, but towards naive people. So I hope there's no laws discriminating against naive people, okay? Number 5. Finally, is it a scam because it's so inefficient at actually helping out education that suppose that it's raison d'etre? Well, maybe. Okay. Look, government is generally inefficient, so the fact that less than half of the money used on lotteries goes towards education shouldn't surprise most people at this point, right? The reality is, even if it's just 1% of all the money that you care about going into the lottery that actually goes towards schools, because the initial pool is so large, 1% is still a significant amount for schools, right? That's still a tangible amount that would be going to schools that wouldn't be there without the lottery, okay? Now, if you're really, pissed that this percentage is too low, guess what? You can feel free to donate directly to your local schools, okay? I'm pretty sure public schools won't turn down free money, okay, with no strings attached. So, if only everyone else was as good as you. Yeah, because I know most people are not going to do that. That's the real reality of it. Okay, so in conclusion, do I need lottery winnings to live? Absolutely not. But that's exactly what makes me the kind of person who can afford to play. So what the heck? I could use a few $100 million more, right? For what exactly? Well, that's part of my daydream. Okay, isn't it? Now, let me know what you daydream about, on how to spend that Scrooge McDuck level of money, right? Or, in the meantime, check out some other clips on them corners. Cheers.